All right, so today is it August? No, we're July 25th, and I am with someone who is definitely anonymous, as you can see. You want to say hi?
Hi, I'm anonymous.
So she's had some pretty exciting things happen in the last few days, and I wanted you to tell us about it.
Well, Sunday I was at the farmer's market and saw this place that said it was a museum of the life of Hubbard. And so I walked up to the door and it said the hours, and I'm like, sounds cool. So I went in, and there was nobody around, and there were two sets of doors when you went in, one on the left, one on the right. And I thought the one on the right looked interesting, so I started to go in, and these two ladies were there, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Really? It's a museum. I wanted to go see." And they're like, "Oh, you can't do that. It's a guided tour, and it takes 45 minutes, and you have to pay admission, and here's the brochure." And I was going to have lunch with a friend, and they're like, "Oh, come back after you have lunch and bring your friend." Yeah, not so much.
So that was her original contact with that was the L. Ron Hubbard Life Museum, right?
Yes.
Which is $3 to get in, which most museums are free, but this one's $3. And like you said, you have to go on a guided tour.
Yeah.
And then the next thing was, I think today, right? We went down L. Ron Hubbard Way.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Right.
I went for a walk.
And you went for a walk, and describe it.
It was strange. There were all these people, and they were in dark blue pants and white shirts, and some of them were dressed like ordinary people, and they looked at me funny. And there was this guy, there were these two people behind me, and they just seemed to be ordinary people talking and walking, and then behind them was this guy dressed in the dark blue pants and the white shirt on a cell phone, talking kind of loud. I thought that was strange. And I was walking up towards the corner. There was a parking ramp at the end of the block. So I was walking towards the parking ramp, and all of a sudden this guy wasn't there anymore. I looked up, and I saw a building, and on the side it said, "We are IAS." And I'm like, that's kind of strange, but okay. So I kept walking, and I get up and across the street, and I come back up part way, and there's this security dude on an orange bicycle, and he's dressed in gray. And I asked him, I'm like, "What's IAS?" And he's like, "International Association of Scientologists." I'm like, "Okay, what's that?" "Well, you can look on the net for that." I'm like, "What?" Okay. So I go back up the other side of the block, because it's a pretty area. And I saw some flowers, and they were nice. And I got partway up, and something felt kind of creepy, and I turned around and looked, and I felt like very obvious. And there was this dude again, and I'm like, it just felt kind of creepy. So I kept walking, and I ended up needing to go to the car because I needed to go home. And there was the dude on the orange bicycle in the gray suit. And I said, "Dude, that sign back there said everyone's welcome." And I said, "You didn't make me feel welcome." He's like, "Well, I'm sorry about that." And then when my friends got to the car, he was still there, and he looked really unhappy. And I didn't care if he was happy or not.
All right, so there's the complex. And also, for those watching, she's relatively new to being anonymous. So these were very surprising for her, because this was, I believe, the first time you've been there, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of surprising, and it's interesting to hear her view, being someone very, 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 very new to this. And the next place you had ventured into was CCHR, the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, which is, nothing could be farther from that name. And tell us about what happened there.
It was weird. It was so weird.
It was weird for me too, just so you know.
There was this guy, and he stated his name, and he looked to be about 25, and he's like, yeah, we like to have people come in and start in groups. And I asked him, how long does it take? Because it's a museum with a tour. I'm like, okay, so how long is the tour? Oh, as long as you want to make it. Because there's films in all kinds of places and all this stuff you can see and do. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And and you start out and watch this film, and there's this sign by the door to where you enter the actual museum. And it's a warning, and it tells you that there might be stuff that's graphic and disturbing in there. So I asked what that meant. And one of the other men on the tour with me said, that's where you see them do lobotomies. And the little spiel the dude at CCHR gave before we went in was about how it was started and in 1969 with Dr. Zaz and Scientology, but there is no relationship between CCHR and Scientology any longer.
Which is a total lie, because it definitely is under the umbrella of the Church of Scientology.
And how psychiatry is so awful and it kills people. And the film they used at the beginning of this was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's poorly done.
And she was really freaked out. And so was I at the end. I thought I was going to throw up. And we have a suspicion, we're not sure, that they may be running some kind of low-grade sound, right?
Yeah.
Some
yeah,
kind
because
of sound thing.
I got partway through the film at the beginning thing, and that was like 10 minutes. And I just started to feel weird and like I was going to get sick. And the film ends, and you can go into this next room. There's all sorts of weirdness in there.
There is.
Seriously. It's this like weird brick thing. Like you've got some stuff like a
she's adjusting her beard.
School. That's right. I need to adjust
Really
the beard. Hey, I'm terrible. Anyway, it's like a brick cell, and it's small, and it's crowded, and there's me and 4 other people in there, and you can barely turn around without bumping into
Yeah, that's
someone.
the other thing. All the rooms are very, very tiny, and they have these awful things in them, so it's even worse.
It's creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
It makes a Halloween horror house look friendly.
Exactly.
And I'm not kidding. I've been to a couple of professional ones. This is worse than a professional house.
It is. So thank you.
Very frightening.
Is there anything else you want to say? Because we only have 15 minutes. I don't ever know how long it is, but I think we're getting near that. And I don't want to go over it because then YouTube won't upload it. Just it was very weird, right?
Be careful of Scientologists, and they are strange.
Very strange.
They make teenagers look normal.
Yeah, they are really weird. And they followed us all around, the security guards and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were watching.
Yeah.
And
some of their neighbors, I thought was interesting, pointed out they had watched how they were following us around. And they thought it was really weird, too. And if you're one of the neighbors, hi. I think one of them is part of my YouTube site. But anyway, thank you very much for your description. It's very, very real. She just did this, and this is how she feels about it. And we had to go out and have margaritas afterwards, right?
Oh, yeah. Those people freaked me out.
They did.
A margarita is a good thing.
After that. Yeah, definitely. All right, so anyway, thank you guys for coming to our site. Keep letting people know about the abuses of this church, because they are pretty weird and they do very nasty things. Even though we're laughing about it, it's pretty creepy. And thank you for everything you're doing, and thank you for the interview.
You're welcome.
All right. Ciao. Peace out.